Monday reaction with Roni and a very disappointing 2-2 draw against our arch rivals Tottenham. I thought Arsenal weren't good on the day. All the emotion and the excitement from the Champions League, just dissipated in this game. Arsenal started really well, but then again, injuries, being profligate in front of goal, and that mistakes getting back in again, this time from Jorginho. But our team, David Raya, I thought his distribution was poor on the day. But David Raya in goal, you had Ben White. I thought he wasn't really out of position, defended quite well. No real issues from him. And then Saliba, I thought he had an excellent game, intercepted when he could. And then Gabriel was there as well. Can't really complain about him. Zinchenko didn't really dominate the ball as per normal. And then Declan Rice, obviously, coming off at halftime, and that obviously affected our play. We just didn't react well, especially with Jorginho being a little bit off his game, if I can call it that, or just taking his time with the ball, haggling about. And then obviously Vieira didn't really have a huge impact. And then Odegaard, it was fantastic in the first half, or not great, but was good in the first half alongside Saka. And then the second half, there just wasn't much. Saka obviously up front. Trossard now also injured, adding to that injury list. Martinelli out on the left, and then Jesus, who had a very decent game, I thought. Jesus and Saliba was my better Arsenal players. Saka in the first half, and then Nketiah, the ball bounced off him a lot. Lots of hard work, but I don't know. Just seems like we need a proper striker. Don't really want to get into all of that now again. But we could have won the game. We had enough chances. Should have been at least 3 up until that time where Tottenham started to get a foothold in the game, just before they got their first goal. But obviously Romero had a dodgy game for them. Defended well at times, and then obviously he was at fault for... Saka got into good space and obviously did his normal shot that he gets off, and then the goal coming off Romero. So own goal, 1-0 to Arsenal. I thought we really could then, put our foot on their throat, as I like to call it, and then that wasn't the case. Once again, Arsenal profligate in front of goal. Jesus, despite working hard, Jesus and Nketiah pressing really hard, Odegaard pressing hard, our front four really pressing well. We just couldn't finish off our chances, and obviously allowed Tottenham back into the game, and that is where Son scored. I thought a good save first of all from Raya. I think it must have been off Brennan Johnson, who luckily didn't. He scuffed his shot, otherwise that would have been a goal. Good save off the Brennan Johnson opportunity. And then Arsenal didn't clear the ball for Son's goal. And somehow he was able to get his foot on the ball and finish off, those typical goals that Arsenal concede. Very disappointing. But 1-1 at halftime. I thought Arsenal didn't come out really well, obviously due to the changes. I could understand why Vieira went off. Didn't really have a great impact on the game. Can't say I had a bad game. But obviously we lost that physical presence now with Declan Rice. And we brought on the height of Kai Havertz. I can understand why, but I felt that Kai Havertz would have been better served playing more up front. But then again, we would have then lost any physical presence in midfield. So I can understand why Havertz had to play in midfield. Jorginho obviously no real impact, very slow on the ball, and then obviously a reason for us conceding. But just quickly on our goal, we weren't really playing well. We didn't really pepper their goal. We weren't good in the final third, if I can call it that, but obviously from the corner, resulting in a penalty. Gabriel, it seemed like he fouled one of the players, but obviously they did look at that and they deemed that not to be a foul, and then obviously the handball was a clear handball. So 2-1 to Arsenal after Saka taking the penalty. I thought the second half he wasn't that great. Maybe it's to do with all the kicks that he's been getting, but then the irritating part is that we weren't able to put pressure on Udogie, who had a good game, but he was on a yellow card from very early on in that first half. So very disappointing that we weren't able to create one-on-ones for Saka. And then maybe you can say good on them. You could say Arsenal's attacking play just wasn't there in the second half with the changes that we had to make. I thought Nketiah worked really hard. As you could see, he pressed. Odegaard worked really hard, but the quality just wasn't there. And then Jesus obviously had a very good game, caused them trouble all game, especially for Porro. But didn't take the chances when we had those chances in the first half, and then obviously we just allowed Tottenham to play in that second half. And then obviously the mistake from Jorginho not long after the penalty, and 2-2. Really, really frustrating. And then we just didn't have the energy in the final bits. I know Smith Rowe came on and Nelson. They had way less impact than they had against PSV. So the impact again from the bench, because of the injuries now as well, starting to pick up, is less, because you could have had a Trossard and a Martinelli possibly play in this game. So I do understand that one substitution, because we didn't have any presence. I thought physically they were very strong, Sa and Basuma. So I understand why we needed to have a physical presence in that midfield. But yeah, Saka and Nketiah had nothing to give in that final 20 minutes, and we took Jesus off once again. That is because of the fear of his knee problem. So yeah, lots of reasons as to why Arsenal didn't get the job done. Didn't really deserve then at the end to get the win, and we'll take the draw, because again it could have been much worse. So we'll take the draw. Again, 4 points now dropped at home. So it's just not quite working, not clicking. And we've got obviously now Brentford on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup away. We've got Bournemouth away from home on next Sunday. I think it's next Sunday. And then we've got Champions League and then Man City. So still 3 other games to go. Injuries piling up. So we'll see what happens with the injury standpoint. And then I don't know. I can't see us doing anything again against Man City if it's going to be Jorginho or El Neni in midfield. So it's going to be a big problem if we lose that game. So hopefully Declan Rice is going to be okay by that game. There's 3 games before that. So we'll see how it goes. Champions League game away from home. With a piling list of injuries, so it's getting a little bit concerning. And then obviously mistakes from Arsenal still in our game, and also being profligate in front of goal. But we'll leave it there, and we'll see what happens when it comes to Brentford on Wednesday and Bournemouth away. Can't look too quick or too far ahead to Man City when it comes to that big game. Already 4 points behind. Liverpool continuing to pick up results, and Brighton also looking good. So we're in for a real battle here. Still undefeated though, and still not really at our best. Probably only played well twice so far. So from that standpoint, but hopefully we get the injured players back. Up the Gunners.